Good morning and welcome to the BrokeMan's podcast. Today we are here with Trenton, aka, can I say Dissent?
Yep.
All right. Where did this Dissent start?
So I think it started in the military, not the name, but the disillusion, I should say.
What do you mean?
So working with the government and seeing its face from a different perspective as opposed to a citizen or civilian.
Okay.
Seeing how they put themselves first,
What do you mean by that?
whatever agenda that they're running, whatever they needed to save themselves,
Okay.
is what's going to happen. And then seeing it at the small scale, right? I wasn't a commander. I wasn't going to the Pentagon or anything, but seeing it in training meetings, seeing it in the way officers would lead, really just utilizing the lower enlisted for their personal and career gain instead of mentoring, leading, developing.
Okay. So it's more for, it's for them. It's not for the actual people.
Right. And I don't want to throw a canvas over the whole thing and
Okay.
group them all up into a box because
Okay.
we've had excellent officers. We've had excellent NCOs. If you're not in the military, that's going to be your sergeants, your corporals that were there for the soldier, putting their needs first.
You met some good people there, correct?
I met some great people. Yes.
Okay. And when it comes to Dissent and you, are you standing for yourself or are you trying to stand for all?
I want to stand for all. I want everyone to be able to enjoy their liberties and enjoy their life how they feel they should enjoy their life.
I like that. When it comes to everyone enjoying their lives and being in the military and seeing what you saw and establishing your own, a new perspective, I can say, correct? Establishing a new perspective, did you see where there was a need? Like, okay, something needs to change. Changes need to happen.
Yeah, and I think the first change that I saw that needs to happen is come together as one people. I feel we have a lot of cultures clashing right now. We have a lot of you versus me.
Between there and I.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
Attacking fellow citizens for their belief system, whatever that may be, instead of adding to the pot and growing from it. I think culture is being utilized as a weapon to keep us the rats in the cage that we are currently, as opposed to using it to develop each other.
So our differences can unite us, is what you're essentially
Yes.
saying. Okay. And then instead, we're living very separately.
Yep.
Everybody wants their own empire, wants their own thing, and the kind of me factor.
Yep.
Instead of the how can we thrive as a community and better ourselves as people, no matter the religion, spirituality, any of that.
Right.
And you see a lot of selfishness now because we're so separate.
Right. Yes.
There's a lot that can go ahead. Sorry.
It is a ideal, especially in the gun sphere. You'll probably hear multiple content creators and influencers. It's about the same idea of having a lot of property, cabin in the woods, being left alone, which is a great goal to have. I get it. I want to be left to my own devices and live my life how I want to. But I think we need to continue to create community. I think our greatest weapon against government overreach is strength in numbers. If we can all get on the same page of what they're doing right now isn't right, how do we fix this? How do we deny this? How do we resist whatever is being forced on us?
In the midst of that, I feel that people can get scared and okay, I got to take care of myself.
No, absolutely.
I'm scared, so I got to go take care of myself and grab the resources for me instead of realizing that together we're stronger. Even me, I recognize that I'm stronger with the people in my life rather than by myself. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah, every now and then being alone sounds really good.
Yeah.
It does. But I've learned it's for a moment and it has its time and place.
Yeah. And the thing to add to that is if you can build self-reliant and you're self-sufficient, then you are more powerful when it comes to helping out others and building the community.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So there was something that we'll get back to this too, because I can stretch for a while. How do you feel about taxes?
Get rid of them. They need to be gone.
We get taxed on our paycheck.
We get taxed on everything. And the biggest issue with it, because we do need to be able to contribute to the community, that doesn't go away just because we don't want the government, or at least I don't want the government there. We still need to contribute, but that contribution needs to be turned around and represented to us. And so,
Correctly. I need to see it.
right, like, where's the money going? And then, well, Israel, Ukraine,
Right.
overseas.
Like, where's the money going? Is it going to put that chair in your office? Like, there's a lot of, not even miscommunication, a lot of things we don't see with that. And where our taxes are going, we get taxed from a paycheck. You go buy something, you get taxed on that, and you get taxed for the, it's a lot. Even within each city, you get taxed on something different. Even when it comes to the sidewalks.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Car registration.
Bro.
We pay every year permission to have our vehicles on the road. Why?
That we pay for.
That we pay for.
Yeah. There's a lot that keeps, that's why I was strong to believe in community. There's a lot that keeps us from actually hitting that successful mark and succeeding. But if we do it together, we can pull resources, a little bit of resources that we have left. We can pull them together and grow that and actually disperse it the correct way.
Right.
And we're working on it, correct?
Yes.
We are working on that. But tax from the paycheck, only to get taxed from what you buy. You get taxed on groceries. You get taxed for your car. You get taxed on every single thing. And I don't think people actually put that into account when it comes to managing finances and whatnot, how much taxes are taken out of everything that you do.
Right.
And then on top of that, like you said, where are all these taxes going? You get a paycheck for, what is a net pay? You'll get what, almost $4,000. And then after taxes and everything, you'll look at maybe $2,000.
Yeah.
Maybe. And that is a lot.
Yeah, I think I get more radical with every paycheck.
Sorry. So you see us as more, do you see any, you see us as more separate than community nowadays?
I do. I think a lot of people have their hearts in the right place, but then at most you'll get a well-written Facebook post about an event that happened, as opposed to what can we do right now? What's in our control to help this?
Where does it start at to help it? Even bringing people together, because it's a scarcity. A lot of times it's a scarcity that separates us, and it is the way, it's just, like you said, it's the way society is set up nowadays, and the way that the culture push that separates us as well, instead of learning how to embrace each other's culture and learn from it, which makes us stronger together, because culture is beautiful.
Absolutely.
And it is needed. I don't care what culture you are from. It is beautiful and it is needed. I've learned a lot from all of my friends from different backgrounds and cultures and spiritualities and religions.
Yeah, I learned a lot myself, especially being in the military. I lived in a box up until I was 18. Small town, Wisconsin, everyone looked, dressed, acted the same. But then getting launched into the military and being around all these cultures, being able to learn from others, seeing their side of things, it was beautiful.
Perspective is everything, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And then you were asking about where does it start in the community?
Yes.
It's easy to say, if you see someone struggling, offer help. And we can get into that. But before that, I think it starts with interacting with the people around you intentionally. I don't know if you've ever heard of anything about that or...
I have, but first that makes me think of something. And I'll say this, I am grateful for my friends. I know that if I truly need something or something's happening, we live our life correctly. We live our life to be as good as we can, and we live our life to grow and to treat others as they want to be treated. And my friends will see that, and we are all on accord in that way. So if something happens, they know, like, okay, he really needs help. This guy really tries his best to do things the right way. He needs help, and they have no problem helping me. And I want to say, that's my gratitude. I forgot about the gratitude in the beginning, but that's my gratitude for today. I am very thankful for my friends, including you, Josh.
Thank you.
All right.
I'm very grateful for my hardships. For a long time, they kind of put me in a box. It was the woe is me, blaming everyone else, turning to unhealthy coping mechanisms. But now I've grown from it, and I use it as a tool to help others, to improve myself, to have a deeper understanding of life. Because I do feel that the deeper you're cut, the more you can feel. Happiness means more when you've experienced sadness.
Yes, it does, and it can bring us closer together as well. Yes. So the way you're seeing things and the way you view things, you don't want people to, from what I'm hearing, you don't want people to just follow your way. You want people to be more aware of how they are living in life, more aware of their rights, more aware of how they can grow.
Absolutely.
Correct. Okay. You want them to be more aware of the laws.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I want them to be themselves,
Yes.
and I don't want the government to have any bearing on that.
That'll take a while.
That will take a long while, and at this point, it feels like fantasy land. It does.
It feels like fantasy land, but at the same time, from what we bring and what we're doing as an establishment and as a establishment / growth group, I think it's very attainable, man.
Right.
Honestly, I think it's very attainable. And when we do reach the point of where we want to be in a fairyland standpoint, we'll be able to teach that.
Yes.
And I think we're getting there. When it comes to laws, what is one law that you think people should know about that is easily looked over or forgotten about?
Reciprocity.
All right, please tell me.
So reciprocity applies to licenseship and how it's accepted by other states. So if you have a marriage license, all 50 states recognize that marriage license. If you have a driver's license, all 50 states recognize that driver's license. But when it comes to your concealed carry license, I have a Wisconsin concealed carry license.
Okay.
If I go to Illinois, if I go to Chicago and I want to carry, and I do carry, I'm breaking their law because they do not recognize my Wisconsin concealed carry license. That's a no-go there.
For me and my ignorance, that just sounds stupid.
It is very stupid.
But go.
I think the idea of a concealed carry license in itself is stupid. And we can definitely touch on, well, how do we educate proper and safe firearm ownership? But I do know in other states they have what's called constitutional carry. So Texas, for example, you do not need to obtain a concealed carry license to carry your weapon. And as far as the firearm safety and education aspect, seeing as our country was born out of violence, essentially, and firearms are deeply ingrained in our culture, whether you like them or not, I think it's important that our youth coming up at some point, especially as they're nearing adulthood, are familiar with firearms, familiar with the safety aspect, and can then safely choose whether or not they want to carry to protect themselves or if they'd rather not deal with that space.
We talked about this a few days ago, and I found it very interesting. I was like, great point. Now, when it comes to, I remember you asked me about whether I carry or not, and I did answer, and I asked you a certain question, and I asked why should people carry, and then you gave me some insight on something that I wasn't quite aware of.
Yes, so the Supreme Court has
Education piece.
Yes, the Supreme Court has ruled that law enforcement officials are not legally obligated to risk their lives in the name of citizens. Note here, it was the Shaney versus Winnebago County, 1989, and the Supreme Court ruled this because they turned to the Constitution, they pointed at the Second Amendment and said, this is your safeguard. Law enforcement is there for support. However, the responsibility for your life and your protection relies on you, and that is what the Second Amendment is partially for. Mm-hmm. Also, to take a more modern example, we had the Uvalde shooting in Texas. I can't remember the year. I think it was 2022. There was a lot of outrage from it because law enforcement officials were standing outside the building, not attempting to make entry, as youth were in danger in the fight for their lives on the inside of the school. A lot of families sued, and the court system ruled the same way. Law enforcement officials are not legally obligated to protect your life. Could they face administrative action because of it? Sure. But just know that if they have to choose between risking their life or not, there's no court system to mandate that they be there.
Okay. Do you believe that we need law enforcement?
In an ideal world, no. And I do recognize that in our current state of living in our society, law enforcement is a very difficult job. So I don't want to diminish what they do.
Okay. I'm in agreement.
However, how is our law enforcement being used? How has it evolved? And I don't think writing a ticket for someone because their car is out of registration or busing someone having a joint is what they should be used for. And I don't believe they should be as militarized as they are. We have law enforcement officers now that look like your standard infantryman back when I was in the military. They have the night vision, they have the cool rifles and the pistols and all the equipment to breach and clear buildings. And what is that being used for?
Right. By the way, the registration and things that you get taxed on, more taxes come with that. And then if you have to if your license gets suspended, more taxes come with that. Yep. And it's just a lot of money. Man, going to the DMV and watching how much something costs, it is heartbreaking. And then having your vehicle registered in one state, and then you got to register in another state, and then you got to get your insurance transferred over to another state, everything, your license transferred over to another state. And then you're looking at what, $600-700 plus taxes.
Yep.
Yeah. So it really grinds my gears, man. I can't say.
Absolutely.
Now, you almost spoke about NFA items. Can you explain that?
Yeah, so an NFA item comes from the National Firearms Act, and that's going to apply to suppressors, fully automatic weapons, and short barrel rifles, short barrel shotguns, explosive devices. I'm probably missing a few things, but the two biggest that most citizens are acquiring is going to be your short barrel rifles and suppressors. So essentially, you are legally allowed to own suppressors and short barrel rifles. And a short barrel rifle is any rifle that has a barrel length shorter than 16 inches. And this law is very twisted, very goofy. I have no idea who it's made to protect, but essentially, if you want to own, say, a 10.5-inch barrel AR-15, you can either register it and pay. It was the $200 tax stamp. However, this summer, they reduced the cost of the tax stamp to $0, although the end goal was to remove short barrel rifles and suppressors completely from the NFA, but that did not happen. So you either register it as a short barrel rifle and get your $0 tax stamp, and if you don't obtain your $0 tax stamp, it will be a felony gun charge, and you could see up to 10 years in prison. Or you can get what's called a pistol brace and essentially categorize it as a pistol. So a pistol brace is a less efficient stock, essentially. The idea of the pistol brace is that it straps to your arm in some fashion, and then you can shoot it as if it was a pistol. However, the gun sphere is very savvy and very creative,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to these laws, and we will touch on automatic weapons here in a second. But before I do that, the pistol braces look and can be used as a stock.
Okay.
So that's the other workaround. Going to fully automatic rifles. So we had the automatic rifle ban in 1986. So any firearm that is fully automatic past May of 1986 cannot be legally obtained by U.S. citizens. However, if you acquire an autoseer and or a weapon prior to 1986, you can pay $400 to transfer that weapon to your name, and you can now legally own that fully automatic rifle. And it spurs the question, why can't we have suppressors? Why can't we have short barrel rifles? Why does the government not want us to have new, up-to-date, fully automatic weapons? Because now you're taking a firearm that was originally produced and sold for $1,000, now going for $60,000 because they can't make more of them that citizens can own.